The first time, Holy Spirit will convince you, apologize. The second time, Holy Spirit, you ask Holy Spirit, you don't talk to him. You don't even hear from me. Why does it have to be me?
I remember there was this one time, like immediately, like he hit us, we held each other's hand and we were like, we're in this together. And after get out.
I'm telling you, the person my husband thought he married, and the person I thought my husband was married. When we go into marriage, I realized he's not really the person you got. Hey guys, welcome back to the Truth and Tales podcast with your favorite host, Victoria and
Yemi.
We're super excited to be doing this video today. But first of all, I hope you voted. If you're in Nigeria on this channel, I hope you voted, and I hope you voted right. And by right, I mean I hope you voted for Peter Obi. We don't know what the result is at the moment because today is the election day. We're actually recording on the election day. We have been so distracted today because
follow election.
Victoria
especially is so passionate about this election, like following it back to back. Oh my god!
I have never been this passionate about anything in my life. Like honestly. It's we have to get it right. But anyways, I hope really and pray that by the time you're watching this video, we already have a winner and the right person is already the president. In Jesus' name, amen. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching our videos. We are so grateful. Thank you for sending your truth and your tales to us. We always have our personal channels linked below. Anyways, today we have a very juicy and interesting topic to discuss with you guys. Yes, today is the truth. And you guys know we enjoy truth because we are talking about our own lives and our own experience with the hope that, you know, you guys can learn a thing or two from us. So in today's video, we'll be talking, especially people that are about to get married so that you are aware. But anyways, Yemi, what are we talking about today?
Yes, I love it. I don't know if it is the election mood that is making me excited.
It's the election that is making us because I can't stop smiling because I know God is the child. Anyways, quiet.
Anyways, today we are going to be talking about our truth on the topic what we wished we knew before marriage. Yes, those things that we wished now that we've been married for more than a year. At least we have gone through the first year of marriage episode. We have gone through that.
We've gone through second year.
Exactly. And we're
because I'm in my third year right now.
Most people are always like, is that first year? Is that first year? So at least we have moved past that hurdle. And we can say at least one or two things about, the things that we wished we knew before we got into marriage. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I don't even know who is going to go first. Who is going to go first? And trust me,
okay, I can go first, right? I think the first thing that I wish I knew before marriage is that expectations can be dangerous now, because everyone goes into marriage with one expectation or the other. We have expectations in our head of what our partner would be like, what we would be like, what our marriage would look like, and all of that. And sometimes, at least what I came to realize, that after I got married, I wanted to put my partner in this box that I expect him to be, right? Even though I wasn't even the person that I expected myself to be, because marriage comes with a lot of challenges. It comes with a lot of difficulties sometimes that, we bring out things in you that you didn't know that, existed, I think that it was in my marriage that I realized that, oh my God, I have issues with being patient. Like I have issues with certain things, right? But, sometimes when we have exaggerated expectations, especially expectations that were not communicated, because sometimes we expect that when we get married, then my husband is going to start doing this, is going to start doing that, but you have those expectations in your head, but you didn't communicate it with your partner, and then you get into marriage expecting them to be this person that you have envisioned in your mind, and then it becomes a problem, right? So I think for me, that was one of the biggest thing that I learned. Like sometimes, not that you go into marriage like clueless. Yes, there are certain things that you desire. That's why I said that expectations can be dangerous. It doesn't mean that it is bad, right? But I think the good expectations are the one you communicate, the one you agree upon. There are things that today me and my husband discuss. I'm like, wait a minute, we discussed this before we got married, and this was what you told me. So what changed? What happened? You understand? Because we had that conversation, and he is able to retrace and ask himself, okay, why am I saying this now? Why did I say it then, and stuff like that. So I think that's the biggest thing, and that's one of the biggest advice I would give. Like manage manage your expectations, communicate your expectations. Don't be so focused of this is the idea, especially when the expectation is not on yourself but on the other person, right? Make sure the person knows that this is what you're expecting of them in marriage, so that you can discuss that and agree on that. But I know that I had some unrealistic expectations, that when we get into marriage, we will have we'll have date nights every week. We will this is the time we want to do certain things. This is the plan, this is the goal, this is all of that. And then you get into marriage and realize that life happens, right? And we had to readjust on certain things, but it wasn't really pleasing, right? When I went to marriage, I had expectations of the kind of husband my partner would be, right? The kind of person that would do certain things and help me out with. My husband helps out a lot, like with the cleaning, with everything. It does plenty of things, but I had even more expectations on him, and the same for me too, because I'm telling you, the person my husband thought he married and the person I thought my husband was marrying, when we go into marriage, I realized he's not really the person. There are certain chores that I enjoy doing, but when I was living with somebody, I realized certain things about myself that so my husband had certain expectations. When we go into marriage, those expectations were not met, and even apart from the chores and him, there's certain expectations you have in marriage. Like when I get into marriage, this is the time we're going to wait before getting pregnant, this is the time we'll have kids, this is the time you have a job, this is the time we relocate, and all of that. Sometimes when those things don't work out as planned, it can cause a lot of tension in your marriage. So always communicate your expectations and always give way for probability that those things don't happen. How do you work through things? But anyways,
that's really beautiful, and I totally agree with that, because as we were talking about it, I was just like, hey, all my expectations, Anyways, that's a good one. That's a very good one to start with. I think, it's quite interesting that this morning, my husband and I were having a conversation, it's like, as per usual, Saturday morning, gist and all of that. And, last night I was telling you
I missed that. I really, really
missed that. Oh, yeah. Sorry to rub it in, okay? Sorry to rub it in.
Beg. My husband is voting for me, so go ahead.
But anyways, it's all good. At least before we even started this conversation, now you people were talking, you were using love to prepare me. But it's all right. It's all right. Okay, what was I even saying? So we're having this conversation this morning, and we're talking about how it was then and how it is now. And I was just talking about how it was then, certain things that I used to do. I'm like, wait, Oga, who are you? And he was like, okay, if it was all that, then why did I marry him and all of that? But anyways, it just leads me to this point that I'm going to say, and that is that I never knew that there are so many phases in marriage. Like, if I had known...
I had that here, seasons.
Yeah. I never knew that, there's going to be, different phases in your marriage. There's going to be times that you guys are so intimate, you guys are so cool, the friendship level is high, everything is, at its peak, what people will call honeymoon phase. Like, you guys will have that, constantly have that. And then you guys will have days where you just don't like each other. Like, not love each other, but you're just like, day your day. You know?
Don't like
and there also, and there's also going to be phases where there will be too much of everything. Like, in terms of resources available to you. Like, you guys will have more than enough. There will be overflow of, even if it is love, there will just be a lot. And there will be times where you have to augment. There will be times where you guys are all to yourself, and there will be times where you guys just cannot be all by yourself just because of different things. Like, there's just going to be a lot of different phases in your marriage, and the way you filled up your cup, or the way you filled up your reservoir during those times of resources, that's what will help you during those times where it's just blank. When things are, when you people are just running on empty. And I remember one of the most recent experiences that we had, like you said, there's some expectations, there's some things that you never, you don't plan. There's some things that you do not plan. For example, last year, my husband and I, we did not plan when we were getting married, that we did not think or talk about how we would handle challenging times. We did not talk about how maybe if we are talking about it based on maybe finance level, we didn't talk about how we would handle our emotions when things are going bad and all of that. And last year was very hard on us in terms of health-wise. One of my kids' health challenge, and even for both of us as well. And I remember there was this one time, immediately it hit us, we held each other's hand and we were like, we're in this together. And the whole get out. After the whole episode, and we're now kind of reminiscing, like flashing back, and we're like, wait, why did we hold each other's hand? And we're like, we're in this together. Like, are we not already in this together? Are we not already in this together?
Choice.
You know? And it was so funny, but in that moment where it was like we were all run out of emotions, like emotions were high. There were days where we would like shout at each other and we'd be like, sorry about yesterday, I was really tense, and you'd be like, I understand. And you know, it's those days, those things we used to do when resources were overflowing that really, really helped us in those moments. So I just look back, like this morning, even when we were talking about pre-marriage and everything, I just realized that, wow, we've gone through different phases in this marriage. Like, you know, we've gone through different phases in this marriage, and that's something I never knew going into marriage. Like the mindset I had going into marriage, even though I didn't even go into marriage with, like, emotionally, it wasn't an emotional decision. It was a very logical decision for me, and not like emotions were out of it too, obviously, but I mean, like I was really very logical about getting married, you know. So despite all of that, I didn't think that, I just thought that, you know, marriage is going to be this. It's either it's going to be this or it's going to be that, and it's not going to be that for us. It's just going to be this. You know, we're all just going to have, like, we dated for like 3 years. We're cool. We're very good friends. We were very good friends. And if there's anything, that's something that I know we were, you know. And I was like, no, we can't. Like, what are you talking about? You know, it's not going to be this way. I never like anticipated or thought to myself that I'd be like, okay, there'll be many faces in this. No, I just thought we're gonna be cool, you know. But yeah, you know, that's something that I've learned, that, you know, there's so many phases in marriage, so many periods. There will be bumps, like they say, but there will be like, there will be really, really so many phases. And it is the way you've filled up your marriage, the way you've, you know, put yourself together. That's what's going to help you in those really down days. Those, you know, the way you guys talk to each other when there's overflow of love. When there's not enough, you can't suddenly change. You know, it's going to be what you're going to carry on. So yeah, that's going to be my very first point. I don't want it to flow into the second one. That's going to be my first thing. The first thing I wish I knew in marriage.
Yeah, because most times they intertwine. And I think I like I said, I also had that, like, the marriage has seasons. Like, there are good seasons, you know, just like you said, like phases. There are good phases, they are horrible. Like, life would throw, you know, I remember the issue with your kid thing, and I cannot even imagine, like, how that could, like, how you guys went through that season, right? And we also, in my own marriage, especially the first year, in short, I remember yesterday I was watching some videos that I recorded. They are not videos that will be going out anytime soon, but sometimes when I'm passing through things, like, I record myself because that's how I process stuff. But I don't know, I took out this old drive, and then I'm like, oh wow, these videos are here, and I was watching it and I was crying because it made me realize that, you know, marriage will test you, right? The seasons in marriage, they are well, everything you ever said. They are really difficult and tough seasons that you and your partner, you will look at. I remember like, we went through certain things that me and my husband broke down like a child, and we were crying, and we were just holding hands also, like, just like, God, you are the only one that can get us through this. And anyway, but yeah, I really love that point. If you don't get anything, if you're going into marriage, know that there are seasons in marriage, and sometimes you think you're prepared for the worst times in marriage, but then when it comes, you realize that you don't know what you're talking about. You know, you think that you know how you will behave when things happen. My dear, you have no idea. That brings me to my next point. That wasn't what I was going to talk about next, but let me just talk about this next, that I learned that saying I am sorry or I apologize is actually a very, well, how did I put it here? Apology is not a flex, and saying sorry is not easy. Because sometimes it's true. You get into marriage, and, you know, before I got into marriage, I used to be that person that used to advise people, just say you're sorry. I mean, what's there? Sorry will not remove anything from you. Sorry does not reduce you. Just say you're sorry. Just say you're apologizing. Master, I entered into marriage. That's when you realize that over and over again, you have to keep apologizing for something that you know that the other person is at fault. It is easy to apologize when you know you are guilty. But when you know the other person is guilty, let's even say the first time, Holy Spirit will convince you, apologize, you apologize. The second time, Holy Spirit, you ask Holy Spirit, you don't come to talk to him. Is it he don't used to hear from me? Why does it have to be me? Because that's the thing, especially if you're the woman. I've come to realize that, see, God is not gender biased, so I'm not saying God is gender biased, but there are some responsibilities that God will put on you as the wife of the house. The Bible says that a good woman, what do you call it? A wise woman builds a house. Yeah. When I go back to that thing, I'm like, why wise woman? Why not wise couple? Why not wise family? Why not wise husband and wife? Yeah. There are some things, responsibilities that God has put in you as the woman. There's a reason why they say men have ego. It doesn't mean that women don't have ego, but you cannot equate it, right? So, and you know, there's a reason why God says that respect is what you should have for your husband and love is what your husband should have for you, because there's a way God created a man that, you know, pride is part of them. Okay, so you as a woman, God created you with the ability to be able to put that pride in check. You understand? And that's one thing I've come to realize, that apologizing when you are right is one of the toughest things. Before I got married, I thought, oh, that is the easiest thing. Yeah, I know my husband wants to say you are sorry, but when you get to it, you'll be like, Kilode, are you a child? Can't you see? So sometimes when my husband are having like arguments, and I'm like, but are you hearing? Are you hearing what you are saying? Because, and the truth is, he knows what he's saying. Sometimes he just wants me to like, it's just men to want to like prove that they are right and stuff like that. And you know, eventually when we finish all the fighting, we still come back. After I apologize, we'll not come back to say, hey, that thing was saying, he thinks what I was saying is right. And in my mind, and at that moment I want to restart the fight. Because but there was the point, right? Yeah. So apology is not a flex, honestly. You will hear just say you're sorry, but it takes a lot for you to apologize, especially, and that's the thing, it's easy, even when I know another person is at fault, maybe in my friendship, it's easy for me to say sorry to them because it doesn't really affect me. But when the person becomes your husband, a part of you, it's tough, because every little thing they do, right, it affects you way more than what your friend would do. So your husband will do something, your friend will do something, and the way you would take it with your husband is like, my husband used to say that, I will just go married. He said that, why are you nicer to other people outside? I said, because my life is in your hands. You will determine if I make heaven. You and I. So I cannot treat it the way I would treat my friends, because, you know, yeah, it's different. So that's why it's even tougher for you to apologize, you know, when you get into marriage. I wish I knew that before I got into marriage, because a lot of things would have been avoided. But
yeah, that's interesting. Me, before marriage, during marriage, I'm just letting it go. I'm like, who offended you? Who offended you? And that's so sorry to me.
My brother is trying. He's really trying.
Honestly, I give it to him. Because I'm a handful, and I know it. I don't want to argue about it, you know. Anyways, I think another thing for me is that I wish I knew before marriage is to know that everything, there's a lot that makes a marriage successful, and all of them has to be involved. Like, there has to be a balance of everything that makes a marriage successful. For example, there has to be love, there has to be money, there has to be support, there has to be like all of those things that makes a relationship work has to be there. When one is removed and you have like every other thing, it might still affect the marriage. Balance. True. Right? For example, like, you guys trust each other, you guys, like, for example, now, there were times that I thought I was prepared for a lot of things. Like, you know, like I said, it was a logical decision for me. I was prepared for a lot of things. But to the extent that I knew was how much I was, I prepared for. For example, I didn't prepare for when something is removed from that equation that I've set, or for when something is added. Like, for example, I didn't prepare for when maybe an extended family will come and live with us. I didn't think that, you know, I didn't prepare for that one. And for me, it kind of like puts me off balance when that was added, because I didn't think about it. Like, I was just focusing on the things that I'm seeing now, the things that are making our relationship work now. Like, when we fight, like, for example, like, I used to say that I'm somebody that I find it hard to easily let go of something that hurts me. And I would not talk about it immediately. Like, I will not communicate to you that this thing that you did hurts me, and I will not say it immediately. But my husband is somebody like, if there's anything that is hurting him, if there's anything that he has on his mind, he's going to put it out now, and you're going to see it. He might be angry, like just this. And after that vex, that period, it's over. It's not good. But me, that moment, I'll be quiet as anything. But in the next 5 days, I'm still thinking about it, you know? So I thought to myself that, okay, we're a very good compliment, like a very good match. But I didn't know that when you add other things to that equation, my husband will not say anything as well. He would also be quiet like me. But I already anticipated that, okay, he is somebody that, okay, he will never keep things. But I didn't know that if he had other opportunities.
It depends on
if there's somebody else with him that he can get distracted with, he will not bother about you. You understand? I didn't think that's so. I didn't know that could cause that would cause an off balance in the relationship, and I didn't prepare for that. You know, so if you add certain things to the marriage, it could shake it. If you remove certain things from the marriage, it could shake it. For example, money as well. I calculated, okay, my husband is earning this. We had calculated, I wasn't working.
Yeah, me
when,
too.
You know, I wasn't working when he decided that, okay, let's go and marry. Yeah, I wasn't working. We were prepared, we had planned for it. But there were certain times that I want to get things that I was used to getting. And I'm like, hey, give me money for this. And one day he just said, I beg, why must you get this? Or he just mentioned something like, ridiculous. I'm like, please, I beg, don't talk to me like that again. And it was like, okay, sorry, I apologize that day. But then afterwards, I'm like, wait, has it gotten to this with me? Like, has my matter reached like this? So, and I remember when I started to work and I started to earn money and, you know, I was contributing financially to the family, things were a lot different. Like the dynamics, the pressure on him to be the man, to provide was reduced. And my own vex that when I ask you for certain things, you pick up fight as if you don't know before. Like, it also was eliminated. So I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of things that makes a marriage successful. And sometimes when you remove one, or when you add certain things, like it's just like when you put fire inside a situation and when you remove fire inside a situation, like the texture of the food will be different. It's either the rice is too soft or the rice is not done. Like, you need all the amount of firewood under the fire to make the rice cook at the temperature that you want it. So everything that, you know, makes a marriage work, the support you get from family has to be balanced. You know, everything. And I didn't know that. You know, I was just this one that was like, okay, jolly good fellow, everything will be all right. Nobody can stress. Like, things like that. But if I knew that, you know, balance the money problem Toma your gimbe, like if they remove firewood from a bomb, balance the only I would have maybe given myself a lot of allowance, you know, and just be like, you know, you don't have to be in control of everything like that. So I think that's something that I wish I knew before getting to marry. Like, sometimes they will remove firewood in your bomb, you know, so just be prepared. So I don't even know if I said that well, but that's something
that thing you said about money. See, I always say, and I'm a kind of person that money is not really a big deal for me, especially when it comes to like the person, as long as we have enough to take care of our basic needs. But then we get into marriage and you realize that you don't even have enough to take care of your basic needs, because your basic needs has now doubled, right? Or even tripled, depending on the spending habits of your partner, right? So you have to and then you also realize that not having money brings out certain things in you and brings out certain things in your husband. For me, when I don't have money, I'm not always it doesn't really affect me too much. But my husband, well, he affects him a lot. Okay, so you know, I realize that, you know, there are a lot of, like you said, there has to be balance. Sometimes when we have the money and then, you know, emotionally maybe something is off in my workplace and stuff like that, it affects my relationship. You bring in things from different aspects of your life affects your relationship with each other. I think it's actually a good point. The next thing that I have here is I didn't know I was going to lose myself in marriage. And when I say lose myself,
this one I need explanation.
because